It's Crestwood Cadet Coach Conversation brought to you by Wilson Custom Tree Service. We're with Justin Denner, head coach of the Crestwood Cadets, a 14-7 win on a rainy Thursday night last week over North Fayette Valley to get yourselves the 3 seed out of Class 2A District number 3. Coach, how'd you get it done?
Yeah, ultimately it came down to us executing. For me, it was the most important thing we did was executed when we were going into the wind. We talked about the rain was a big factor, but the wind was, in my opinion, more important. So our first drive started on our own 20 going into the wind, got all the way to the 25. Had to turn it over from there, but really kind of flipped the field and got our guys feeling good about what was going on. And then we were able to take advantage of a couple short fields with the wind, and had a big conversion on 4th down between Dylan and Ty to take the lead late, and our defense stepped up with a couple turnovers, and that was huge for us.
And you did have 4 takeaways, 2 fumble recoveries, and 2 interceptions. You also held a pretty good rushing attack for North Fayette Valley to just 2.8 yards a carry. What made your defense click in that game?
Yeah, I felt our defensive line did an outstanding job understanding the responsibilities and understanding what it takes to go against a wing T style offense like North Fayette, and really holding point, which allowed our linebackers and D-backs to flow and do what they needed to do. I thought our defensive backs were very disciplined. North does a great job with play action. Declan does an outstanding job selling it. And if we got our eyes in the wrong space, they got dudes that can get behind us real quick. But our D-backs were very disciplined, which made throwing difficult, not only with the weather, but just in general. There was tough, tight spaces for them to throw. And so, from top to bottom, all 3 levels of our defense played very complimentary and very well to hold them to 7 points.
And your rushing attack, it's been a pretty good 1-2 attack all season with Aiden and Dylan. And Aiden Skoda, 122 yards, 5.1 yards a carry. And Dylan, a little less on the yardage end of things. And you kind of alluded to this. Seemingly it was more when Dylan got his yards than the total amount of yards. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. Dylan really put us in good positions. If we were behind the sticks, our offensive line did an outstanding job, with the situations and conditions. They knew for the most part we weren't going to throw it unless if we absolutely had to. So, there was 9, 10, 11 guys in the box from time to times. So our O-line did an outstanding job, but, Dylan was fantastic in getting us yards when we needed it the most. Taking 2nd and 9s and making them 3rd and 3s, or 3rd and 2s and converting. I want to say a good chunk of his carries were efficient carries, which means it got us to where we wanted to be, either getting us the 1st down or getting us to a position where it was 3rd and manageable or 4th and manageable. And anytime you have an efficient run game, no matter the conditions, it's a much better offensive game for us.
You played a Thursday night game last week. It kind of truncated the week of preparation heading into that contest. But here on the backside of that week, having an extra day of rest this time of year, outside looking in, that's probably not a bad thing. Is that correct?
Absolutely. It was good. It was great for everybody involved. It was great for our kids. It was great for our staff, to be able to enjoy a Friday night with family. I was able to take the kids out, wife and kids out for supper, and hang out with them and not necessarily, worry too much about, football until, came later on throughout the course of Friday night after bedtime and stuff. But, it was good for everybody involved. We're back to about as healthy as we can possibly be. Obviously we have some, the season ending injuries. We didn't get those guys back, but any nicks and bruises that we had coming into last week are all gone. So we're about as healthy as we can be. And that, I think that Thursday night game was a blessing for that, reason to kind of get a nice little reset coming into, the playoff push.
This week, you make the trip down to Jessup, take on the Jayhawks. I'm sure you've watched plenty of film on them. What do you like about them on film?
Yeah, they're a solid ball club. Obviously they're the district runner up in their district, and they've earned that. Their defense is very solid. They've, I think, given up just over 13 points a game. And that includes a kind of a blowout loss to PCM, their district champion. So with the exception of the one game, their defense has been outstanding. They do they're very athletic on the defensive side of the ball. They fly around, do a lot of great stuff. Offensively, very similar in nature in terms to Independence, in terms of what they're trying to do. But they've got a very solid quarterback that can run the ball and throw the ball. Then they've got a solid tailback, and then they've got some lanky receivers that can do some damage. So it's going to be a great game. I think hopefully a little bit better weather than we had this past week. But anytime it gets to playoff football, you're playing somebody that's really, really flipping good. And we're excited for that. And we're hoping, the schedule we've had so far puts us battle tested and ready to go for this Friday night.
Final question. Have you dried out from last Thursday yet?
Yeah, I haven't tried the shoes on yet that I wore Friday night, but I had the nice little rain suit, courtesy of Coach Meemert, and so forth. And so I was fairly dry. I can't say the same about some of my other assistants, but for the most part, we're pretty good, and we're looking forward to hopefully some sunny skies ahead.
All right, Coach, hopefully you can keep this thing rolling and we can have as many conversations as possible here in the postseason. Keep your kids healthy. We wish best of luck. Let's chat again next week.
Appreciate it. Go Cadets.
Justin Denner, head coach of the Cadets, brought to you by Wilson Custom Tree Service.